Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another episode here on European Confessions. The following confession that you're going to be listening to, it comes from a message that I received, and it reads like this. Hello, Brother Nashi, how are you? I am writing this to you so that the world can pray for me. My real name is called Rudolph. I can't tell you my surname because I'm scared that people will go and search for me here on Facebook. I am 37 years old and I am a South African. Brother, I am someone that has been praying to God, and I am grateful for what God has done to me and for me. For it, if it was not for God and the Holy Spirit, I could have been killed a long time ago by the satanic agents that have been haunting me ever since the day that I gave my life to Jesus Christ and I became a new creation. And as I am sitting here today, I am a man who has nothing, staying at my mother's house in the village. All that I have is a Bible, and I thank God that I have found a platform where I can tell you my own story. And I hope that my story, it is going to inspire someone who is a Satanist to come out of that demonic kingdom and for you to come to the kingdom of light. Leave the kingdom of darkness because they do not love you there in the kingdom of darkness. I might be a man that have no children, a man that has no money, a man that does not have peace because I am actively engaged in spiritual warfare. But what I know is that God is not a fool. God is going to do it for me. Let me take you back to the past. I grew up in a remote area in the Eastern Cape. Poverty was just in everywhere. And as for my parents, they were working on a white man's farm. Life was just difficult for my parents. They tried by all means to give us a good life, but one could tell that there is nothing that my parents could even afford. As a young child, I started hustling because I was sick and tired of the poverty that was all over me in the village. When other children were going to school, I was thinking about where our meal was going to come from. I started working in the farms from a very young age. There were times when the white farmer would go with me to another farm. If we were stopped by the police, he would have told me not to even say that I work for him, but to say that I am a hitchhiker and they just gave me a lift. I am going to the next village because I was underage. It was not only me that was working on that farm that was above 18. Most of us, we were assisting our parents. And by working at that farm, I was not getting paid any single cent. We were just there to help our parents so that they can quickly finish their work and we can return back home. So at night, I was restless. I knew that there was the spirit of my ancestors that was always nearby. I would go to the graveyards, those places that you people think that they are scary. In our village, if someone will die, then their house becomes an abandoned house. I would go there at night. I would enter into their house because I would want to see and hear if there is any ghost that will be in that house, because we believe that when someone dies, they don't go anywhere unless they would have rested properly. So I would go to the house of that person that would have died in our village. I would go to the graveyards. I started talking to the ancestors because I wanted the ancestors to give me spiritual powers, any kind of spiritual powers, so that I can become a very powerful Sangoma. I started speaking with other Sangomas. I would go to different Sangomas to work for them to become an assistant. And those Sangomas, they would teach me. And when they would have taught me whatever, since my parents did not have the money for me to go through the process, for me to become a certified Sangoma, they could not train me. They could only train me the basics. So I became a herbalist. And because I was a herbalist, I had to speak with the dead people in the graves where I used to spend most of my time in, and they would respond to me. Sometimes I would feel the wind brushing against my face that would be warm, and I would know that this is the spirit of a person that I am talking to. I was someone that knew each and every root. I knew which root could heal a fever, flu, and each and every root that could help you to get a good business. If you were a woman, I knew the herbs that you would put underneath your tongue, and that man will love you with all of his heart. I then got advice from this other man who was a Sangoma as well. He said, instead of you just doing these things here in the village, there is no money in the village. How about you go to town? You can find people that can assist you. So I started selling these African herbs at the taxi rank in the nearby town. I would sell cleanse mixtures to taxi drivers. You know that they sleep with each and every woman and they want to cleanse their blood at all the times. So I would go to them so that they can cleanse themselves and they can work very well in bed as if they were still young men. So they knew me as a young Sangoma that would even give a taxi driver a 2-liter bottle that is full of herbs. Then you would pay me later. So because these people, they were giving me money, it was small money. I wanted to become rich as a Sangoma, but I was not certified to become a Sangoma. I was afraid of getting arrested. One day when I was at the rank, I still remember that I had finished eating pap. Then there was a man that approached me. I thought that he wanted some herbs. He called me to his car. He was driving a silver Mercedes Benz. When I got at the back seat of his car, he then called me by my name, Rudolph. He said, I see that you are making money, but you are just small time. I want you to become very successful in this business that you are doing. He told me that he was from the kingdom of darkness. I was surprised that he knew me by my name. He said that they had already spoken about me and they had decided that they wanted to give me an opportunity. I was going to become rich, but those riches, I never saw them, Brother Nashi. And I want to warn those that want to join Satanism, never ever join Satanism, because what they tell you at the time of your initiation and what you get at the end of the day, it is two different stories. All that you will do is that you will become a foot soldier for the devil, and the devil will use you, and after you would have used you, is going to put you to the side and look for another person that wants to do rituals to become a Satanist. I was initiated. The initiation, it was very simple. I was given a ring, and with this ring, they could monitor me wherever I would be at. They would see me in the spiritual world. They would hear me. They would see everything that I would be seeing. They would direct me. I was taught for nearly 2 months. I was being taught how to become a beggar. Those people that you see begging in town, not everyone that is a beggar in town is just a poor man. They are those that are there to collect your money. Some are independent ritualists. Then some, they work in a team of Satanists. So when we were taught that when you give someone money, you have given them part of your blessing. And with that money, it can withdraw all of the blessings that God have given to you. So when a person gives a beggar money out of pity, they open up a spiritual door and a point of contact that a ritualist or a Satanist, like I used to be, can use. In that moment of you giving, the door is open. The beggar can steal the luck and the destiny of the giver. That was when I was told that I was supposed to be moved from the village and I had to travel far, and I was taken to East London. When I was in East London, I was then given a nice apartment where I was staying. The place where I was staying, it was actually a student accommodation. Because of my age, most of the people, they thought that maybe I was a student and I was studying somewhere else, but everything was being sponsored by that man with the Mercedes Benz, which was silver. He was the one that was my financial sponsor who had spotted me. And in the morning, I would go to town. What I would do the very first day, I would go to town and pretend as if I was a drug addict, and I would walk around usually your downtown areas begging for people for money. I would go into different shops and I would pretend as if I want to buy something else, and I would say, I'm only short with 2 rand. 2 rand, please. That was all that I would require from you. and I would take that money and I would put it somewhere else, and I would go and give it to my superiors who would use that money in rituals. So before we would have gone to work, there was a certain type of a cologne that they make underneath the Indian Ocean that they would give to us. Once I spray that type of a cologne, then if I ask you for money like 1 rand 50 cent, you would just give it to me, and because of that smell, you would want to give something to me. When I graduated, then I was taken to another house where I was initiated into the deeper levels of Satanism. I was taught, and there was a spirit that came into my body, that entered into my body through my belly button. I was taken in a room which was very dark. I could not even see my own hand when I would raise it up, with the way that this room was dark. From the outside, it just looked like a normal house in the suburbs where middle class people stay. But when you enter inside, when you are taken to that room, it's like you have been taken into another dimension. So when I was in that room, they made me to strip down my clothes and they made me to lie down. The moment that those people left, there was this sudden darkness that entered into that room. It was so scary. I wanted to scream, but my voice could not even come out. Then the chameleon, I felt it. I saw it in the dark. This was a demonic entity that was entering into my body, because when the demons come here on earth, they present themselves as different type of animals. So this chameleon came to where I was and it entered into my stomach through the belly button. It was very painful. It was a painful ritual, not something that was nice. And from that day, this demonic entity could control what I could do. During the day, I would sit by the robots with a helper who was also a satanic agent. I would be sitting on a piece of cardboard, and then my legs, they would become so small, and I would even be put on a wheelchair. My hands, they would look so scary, as if I was born like that. I would become a disabled man in front of the people, but the people would not even know that it was a demon that would be possessing me, that would make me to look like that. I was even gifted with the gift to make myself blind, totally blind, where I had to be led from one point to another. I would look so sorry that people would be giving my handler 10 rand, 20 rand, white people giving us 100 rand into the cup that we would be holding. So this cup that we would be holding, it is not just a normal cup. It is something that those satanic agents would have taken into the Indian Ocean, and they would bring it back with it having demonic spirits. So from the moment that you drop the money into the cup, then the initiation has already started. Your luck is going to be stolen away from you. So after we would have gotten the money, we would get up and go back to our superiors. Those that were supposed to get a promotion, you will never get that promotion. Those that were supposed to be called at work, that you have gotten the job that you have applied for, you will never get a response. Those that had the light in their lives, there would only be darkness, nothing but darkness. Those that were supposed to have marriages, the marriages, they would never happen. Those that were supposed to stay healthy, to enjoy a healthy life, those people would be in the hospital all the times. When it was 5 p.m., we were not supposed to be in a crowded place. I would be rushed over to a place where there was no one, and then the demon would leave me in a scary ritual. I would scream as my legs would be coming to become normal once again, including my hands that would have been curled up by the possession of the demon. Then I would be able to stand up. My legs would straighten and I would walk again okay. As time went on, I met her. She was a high-ranking woman from the DRC in Congo. She had been brought to South Africa on a mission. She was a spiritual rapist. She only dated pastors. Those pastors, once she will start to come to your church, you would think that this woman, I am the one who is seducing her. Yet she is the one that has already started with the spiritual raping all along. And she would be sleeping with you in your dreams. She had the task of finding men of God who were real men of God, and she would sleep with them. Once she has slept with a man of God, then she would have taken your glory, and you will start to preach a gospel that is a false gospel. So me and him, we started staying together from the year 2005 to 2016. We were living as a couple in the occultic world. We never had any human children, but we had 5 spiritual babies. These were entities that were born through rituals with demons. So these children, they were born in the spiritual world. So to this very day, I am being troubled by these spiritual babies. In 2016, starting in 2015, something snapped, something was happening to me. I looked at my life and I saw that this life that I was living, it was not okay. By then, my wife from the Satanic Kingdom, she had left South Africa, and I started thinking more about my life. That was when I ran away and I turned to Jesus Christ. But to this very day, these spirits, they have been troubling me. They've been telling me that you can't leave us. These demons that I used to speak with, they even speak with me. I am a Christian. I pray, I fast, but they come and they speak with me. I am now 37. I am a Christian. I am a haunted man. The spiritual babies, they come to me. They would be crying, Father, Father, why did you leave us? Father, Father, why did you leave us? And they want me to return back to the dark kingdom. I am childless because of the rituals that I did. I gave my semen to a demon that drank my semen, that made it possible for me and my wife to have kids in the spiritual world. That demon was the carrier of my semen to hell, and it came back with those demonic babies. So they always come to me. Brother, I am telling people right now that the Satanic Kingdom, it is alive and it is everywhere. And I want people to pray for me, because there are times when I feel that my spirit is paralyzed and I can't pray anymore. I want to tell the people that will listen to my confession to remember me. My real name is Rudolph. I am telling you my real name because I want people to assist me in prayer. When you pray, please remember Rudolph in your prayers. I hope that even though I am 37, God is going to grant me a real child. I do have a wife that does not know about my past. My wife is working on the farm as well, but she does not know that this is where I am coming from. Dear listeners, right, there was a message that was sent to me by one of our dear brother. Strange things indeed they do happen in this world. Let us talk about this in the comment section. Let us meet again in the following episode. Our brother is saying, please remember me when you pray. Remember the name Rudolph from Eastern Cape. Yes. Yo.